Hey gardeners, Amy here with Garden Up. Today I wanted to talk about how to build a TreePee step by step. This is the third year I've set this up, and so I've kind of worked out a few of the kinks, and I think I've got it kind of dialed in now about how to create this really fun Christmas display. One time-saving technique that I have developed is the way you store your Christmas stuff really makes a big difference as far as how quickly it gets set up the following year. So I have 6 garden poles. They are 6 foot long, just grain-coated bean poles that I was going to make a teepee out of in the backyard, with beans growing up and everything. But, I'm busy. I never got to that. So I used them to make the TreePee instead, and it's so much fun. My kids love it. So I now store the poles with the twist ties and the clips still attached. So it's all together, and all I have to do is take it out and set it up. Quick, easy. I don't have to spend a whole bunch of time finding all of the pieces and putting it together every year. It's all right there in one piece. What you'll need to assemble a TreePee: at least 6 poles. Again, I used 6-foot garden bean poles. You could use higher if you want, especially if you have a higher ceiling and you have space for it, or you have taller kids. You'll want a taller TreePee. You'll want at least 12 clips or safety pins, but something to pin the sheet from the inside to the poles. String, twist ties, a little bit of plastic wrap, and you'll need lots and lots of garlands. And on this, I would go for the nicer garlands that are a little bit less pokey and more full and well greened throughout the entire garland. You're going to use the twist tie to attach 3 poles together as close to the top as you can. Add the other 3 and twist tie each one to the first 3. Tie a string to the clips, whether they be the paper clamps or safety pins, and tie those to the poles, at least 2 per pole. And then take the plastic wrap and wrap the top of the poles. This keeps the poles from sliding. Tie a string around a corner of the sheet, and then tie a loop at the end of the string, and hang that on the poles. Spread the sheet out amongst the poles, and clip. This creates this really cozy little spot in the TreePee and keeps your kids from getting poked in the eye. So that's nice. I highly recommend the sheet. It took me several days to get back to this, and the poles got bumped and moved a lot. But the plastic wrap kept the ties from sliding down. The first time I tried to build a teepee, the twist ties at the top kept sliding down every time the pole got bumped or moved or whatever. And by the time I got to decorating, there was a full foot of pole sticking up above where the twist tie was, which looked really funky when we were done, and it made for a really short TreePee. I did manage to make it look nice. I put a bunch of picks up at the top hiding the poles, which helped, and now I'm obviously still putting picks up at the top just because it looks cool. But anyway, that's my trick. Use some plastic wrap to hold it together at the top. I didn't spend a lot of time fluffing the garlands this year. They seemed to be okay from last year. They mostly just needed straightening. So it only took about 5 to 7 minutes for each garland versus the 15 to 20 when they were brand new garlands and I had to fluff them all up. I only cover the sides of the TreePee. I leave the back uncovered for several reasons. This saves a lot of garland and also keeps the garland from sliding up. If you want to go all the way around, then I would actually recommend you start the garland at the top and work down. Because if you start at the wider bottom, the garlands will slide up to the narrow top. But from what I've found, it doesn't slide much when you're only doing one side at a time. Undo the clips on the poles that you're wrapping around. This will give you more space to work. The hardest part about this was getting a close-up shot without Ellen photobombing. She really wants to show you her shirt and her letters. 5 garlands on this side covered about 18 inches by the 3 feet that are at the bottom and almost 2 feet at about 18 inches high. 5 more garlands on this side covered about the same space. The poles are now pretty secure and much less likely to move around when the kids play in or around it. Remember to re-clip the sheet in any areas where you aren't currently working. It's really hard to find the clips later. 2 more on the left, and that's about halfway, which is where I start going all the way around. 2 more on the right, so that's 7 garlands on each side. I want the door a little high this year so my 2-year-old is less likely to get poked in the eye. So I'm doing 2 garlands around 3 sides, but still leaving the front open. So these garlands are covering the back, but not the front. And they're still not sliding up. So now I'm going all the way around. And this section, the garlands are starting to creep up to the narrower top of the TreePee. It leaves large gaps in the front, which in my opinion are big and too visible. To counter this, I double back the garland in the front. This seems to both fill in the space and reduce the upward creep. I swear this uses more garlands every year. I'm opening number 20 now. New garlands are always flattened and squished, so I'm back to fluffing. These ones are softer and fuller than the first ones I got, which I highly recommend. They are easier and faster to fluff and much less pokey. Almost done. This is the last garland I've purchased, which is exactly right. My oldest and nicest garland I saved for the doorway. I attach this by twisting 2 branches from the other garlands around the door garland. I also attach each end first and double back at the top to, again, make that area more full. My total this year is 23 garlands and about 4 to 5 hours to get to this point. A quick vacuum before the garland needles invade my entire house. And now it's time to decorate! For my lights this year, I splurged and got something new. I saw these at Costco and was very curious, so I thought I'd give them a try. I've already recorded another video on this, so check it out up here at the top, or I'll link it down in the description below. This is Twinkly brand strings, 750 LED lights, and they change from an app on your phone. Check this out. They make really cool patterns, and you can change to whatever mood you're in. I love this one. This one's called Rainbow Rain. This one's Cotton Candy. Here's Candy Cane. These are so cool. I don't normally get excited about products. In fact, I hate shopping with a passion, and so I'm like the anti-reviewer, to be perfectly honest. But these are neat. We decorated with my usual ribbons, picks, and ornaments in silver, blue, and a hint of pink. But I let Lily do most of the decorating again. 1, because she has more available free time, and 2, just because it makes a really fun-looking tree. I'm sure this is typical in families with children. Lily wanted to help, and she has her own flamboyant style that I just have a hard time relating to. If you've watched this far that I feel like I can share something a little more personal, it's sometimes hard for me to give up my ideals of a perfectly decorated tree and let my kid go to town in her age-appropriate methods. I'm getting better though. Last year I stepped back and just let her do the whole thing because it was that or not decorating the tree at all. But the thing is, decorating trees is something I do professionally in December, so letting go of perfection and balanced symmetry can be a challenge. But it's worth it for the joy and the memories. Also, sometimes she inspires fun and new ideas that I never would have thought of before. When she was about 3, she helped decorate by hanging a whole bunch of little tiny balls all in the exact same spot. I was just planning on balancing it out later when she wasn't looking, but then I realized that it looked like a cute cluster of berries. So I actually copied her and did the same thing on the rest of the tree. It was quite charming. I also know that this is one of those things that I'll cherish later when my kids are grown and I can have the perfect tree again. So if you are having similar struggles, I highly encourage you to just try letting go of that control and just see what happens. You can always adjust it later. I'd love to hear about your experiences and joys and struggles with decorating with your kids, so feel free to leave a comment below if you're willing to share. Now we vacuum again and add a blanket, add a few pillows, and we're all done. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you can now build your own TreePee for your kids. Please hit the like button if this was helpful. Drop a comment down below if you feel so moved. And thanks again for watching, everybody. Merry Christmas.